The Isack HADJAR Road to Glory series starts right now. What's up everyone, Easy here, and welcome to this brand new F125 video series that I'm gonna do. We're gonna play as a driver, we're gonna play as Isack HADJAR, and we're gonna do it in cockpit cam with a bit of a more difficult setting, I guess. We're not gonna be controlling R&D, we're gonna leave that to the team to decide for us. So that we can just make our car as fast as possible within the first 2-3 episodes. Then that would just kill all the fun. And we're aiming to have these videos around 15 to 20 minutes. I don't want to do like many other creators on YouTube within F125 where it's like 45-minute videos. So we're gonna skip through the mumbo jumbo that everyone has already seen. We're doing a 24 race calendar, and it's gonna be, like I say, automated. Leave that setting off, driver icons off. We're gonna start off practice with around 100 AI, but we will be increasing the AI level as we go. And heading into our first practice session here, we're gonna complete the race strategy and the ERS strategy, and then the tire strategy, and we're gonna hit purple on all of them. And we're not supposed to be P3 in my opinion. I think that's a bit too high even if it's practice, so we are gonna increase the AI by a few clicks and see where that leaves us. I don't usually drive in cockpit. I usually use the T-cam, so I am able to race at 110. I've done that for at least 3-4 games at this point. I think the max AI is a bit slow, but I also did use the corner line before and I've turned that off for about 6 months now. But heading into our first qualifying session here with the team, it's actually raining, but it's not raining hard enough for us to use the inters. The inters are actually 2 seconds slower at this point, but the track still doesn't have any grip for the player. And as you can see, I'm struggling pretty hard to find the traction here. On my second run with the same softs, I managed to go about 2 seconds faster, but it's still not enough, and I'm still finding it very difficult in the low speed traction zones, and the AI is just eating me up here. We all know that the AI can sometimes feel like they are on rails no matter what the conditions are, but even for me this is a bit more difficult than I anticipated. Now we've put on the final soft tire that we have, and we've gone into our final lap. Once again we're up about 1.6-1.7 seconds, but as we cross the line and we get our final position, it is going to be a P20 start in Australia, not where we want to be, especially since our teammate Liam Lawson manages to qualify P7, 1:24.8, 1.2 seconds off Verstappen, while we are way off at 2.7 off. But it is mostly due to the conditions, and we should be able to not get interrupted. Blah blah blah, let's go. I think it's Tom 97 that also always gets interrupted by Mark, so if I can have that as well, it would be fun. But anyways, in the dry conditions we should be able to match the AI a lot better, and hopefully not get dropped like a rock, and be able to stick with them a bit. P20 we should be able to race comfortably up until that Fernando Alonso, Esteban Ocon, and then whether or not we can get into the points is a completely different question. So let's go formation lap time, and I'm not really sure what the best approach is so far on this game. Before you could sort of drag your brakes a bit and then heat up the tires. Now that doesn't work, and I have a feeling that it's probably not even worth it to warm up your tires during the formation lap. But here we go then. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and lights are out, and away we go. First race in Australia, and we're gonna get a much better start here than George Russell in the Mercedes. That's also starting from the back, but we're kind of boxed in here. We're not really gonna be able to find a lot of space to move, but we do out traction the Mercedes. For some reason started down there. Antonelli is a bit further ahead, so I don't know why George Russell is so far back. Turn 3 here, we're gonna navigate our way past Carlos Sainz in the Williams, and we're gonna be snug here in P18, right behind Gasly. Verstappen is leading the train away. He should be on the DRS straight right now, and so far a pretty good start. We gained 2 positions and we have no damage. Good battery. We're gonna let them drag away for a little bit. This is on purpose, just because I don't want to be part of the Constantina effect or whatever that's called. Whenever they break and everyone gets bunched up there, it's so easy to get wing damage there, and it's not something that I want to be part of at the start. You can see how fast I caught up to them while not even pushing. I mean, it's basically lap 1 shenanigans in a nutshell. Pretty solid first lap here. We're gonna round the final corner. Verstappen set a lap time of 1:25 on the first lap, and Sainz is also pushing behind us. DRS gets enabled, and we're gonna skip a bit further up here. Middle of lap 2, Gasly ahead of us. We're gonna see what we can do here. We set up purple sector 2, and we're gonna get a massive exit out of this chicane, and we're gonna find Gasly into the braking zone and overtake him. We very nearly run into the back of Stroll there, but we managed to get the car stopped just in time. The AI quite slow into these last 2 corners, but for some reason they managed to get a godlike exit out of the last corner. It's the same way with China on that last turn before the long straight. For some reason they're just so overpowered out of like slow speed exits on a long straight. Skipping ahead to the middle of lap 3 here, we can currently see that Verstappen is leading the race with Norris tight behind him. Tsunoda for some reason is overpowered on this game and is performing way above where he should be in my opinion. The 2 Ferraris of Leclerc and Hamilton tight behind each other, and Piastri is far off where he should be. In my opinion, if the game was a bit more balanced, he should be maybe even leading the race. Lawson is having a really good performance. He just got overtaken there by Alex Albon. Hülkenberg in P10, Behrman behind them, Alonso, Bortoleto, Dohan, Antonelli, Stroll, myself as Hadjar, Gasly, Sainz and Russell. So the entire field is one big train, and we're able to keep up here with the Aston Martin, but we should be looking at ways of getting ahead of Lance Stroll so we can further attack up the grid. Especially since we are on a one-stop strategy, while there might be some cars that will do the 2-stop even if it's a 35% race. So here we go then, the final few corners of lap number 4, and we're gonna see if we can mount an attack here on Stroll and catch him by surprise. So final corner, we're gonna send a dive bomb down the inside. We're not gonna make any contact, that's very important, and we get the position clean. Very nice dive bomb, and we can set off after Antonelli, or if Antonelli has the pace, he can maybe drag us along to the cars up ahead. And we're gonna ask for a full race update, just as we send one on Antonelli because he was for some reason slow into the 3rd corner right there, and we managed to get 1 more position. 16 laps to go. We're chasing Jack Doohan, and we're gonna get the first corner cut warning. Can't get more than 3. That's a 3-second penalty, which in my opinion should be a 5-second penalty. I don't understand why in the game we have lenient penalties. Doesn't make any sense. It should be 5, and you should be able to serve them. You can't really serve a 3-second penalty in the game. Doesn't let you, but a 5-second, 10-second, it does let you serve. So lap number 7, still chasing Jack Doohan, Bortoleto, Alonso and Hülkenberg. Albon and Lawson and Behrman, for my opinion, is a bit too far away, especially with our strategy. Dirty air in this game is a thing, and it is very difficult to follow through high-speed corners. You overheat your tires, and you're gonna lose so much grip. But into the chicane once again, we're gonna get a better exit. We're gonna use DRS and the last of a battery. We're gonna fake left, go to the right, and send it down straight. Out brake the Alpine of Jack Doohan. He's still there on our left, and we're gonna power through with our traction and make the overtake. Bortoletto up ahead in P12. For some reason I clipped the grass there, not looking at the track, looking at the time board and the positions. But the tires clean up nicely, even though it does take a bit longer in this year's game. Bortoletto up ahead is gonna head down in the pit lane for his one and only pit stop, I believe. And we're gonna take that position. We're gonna move up into P10. As we could see, Lawson there getting ahead of Verstappen, who made his pit stop. Verstappen is an entire pit stop ahead of us right now, but he's not in our fight, so that doesn't really matter to us. If we can chase down the house of Oliver Behrman, we should be able to do that, but it is a tall task, especially because our tires are going. Even if it's a 35% race, the tire wear is increased, and I actually find the 35% to be a lot more action-packed than the 50 and even the 100% races, so that's why I prefer them. But if it's a bit short, we might move over to 50% races. We do have an objective right now, and that is to keep Doohan behind us up until lap 12, and it's a bit of misunderstanding here between us and our team down in the pit lane, because we are supposed to pit now on lap 11, but they gave me this objective of keeping Doohan behind, and at this point he has much better tire wear than I have, and I'm struggling, so ideally I do want to pit, but I'm gonna do what the objectives say, and I'm gonna stay out, and hopefully that gives me a bit more recognition, a bit more, I guess, say in the team, that I do what the team say, and hopefully when the upgrades start coming, it goes on my car. Bit of a loose end into the last corner. We're gonna survive this objective up until the very last second. Doohan overtakes us, Leclerc goes in front of us, we almost crash into him. We have a massive oversteer moment here in the turn 1, and Doohan is going to overtake us, but it is after the objective has ended. We're still P8, but we still haven't made our pit stop, and we have missed our pit window at this point. And it is going to come back to haunt us later down in the race. Skipping ahead here in the middle of lap 12, as you can see, Sainz and Tsunoda are pretty much up my gearbox, as I'm using Jack Doohan to keep them behind me. The Alpine does need the pit, I need the pit, and I believe Sainz has the pit. But Tsunoda has already made a pit stop and is being massively held up here in this train of people trying to go for points. We're gonna see if we can do something about Jack Doohan, which we can't, but we managed to keep the Williams behind us. And as we round the final corners here on lap 12, Jack Doohan is going to come into the pit lane, and I see an opportunity to maybe use DRS one more time and keep myself in the game. Up into P6. The Red Bull is tight behind us. Into turn 1, we're gonna keep that behind. In hindsight, maybe we should have let that Red Bull go and used it, but on the very same lap into the DRS zone, Tsunoda is going to overtake us, and right now we're a bit in no man's land thanks to that objective that we had earlier, staying out when in reality we should have pitted. We could have pitted right behind Jack Doohan, and maybe that also would have been a correct approach, but for some reason I didn't do it, and we're gonna see Tsunoda come in for his two-stop strategy, and Ocon right behind us. Into turn number 3 and 4, we have the house of Ocon right behind us. We've asked the pit lane to accept us right now as we get another objective. This time around, we are not going to follow up with this at this current moment. We're gonna do what we can in order to get to the pit lane as fast as possible, get off these tires, and maybe use the tire delta that we have in order to push to the cars that must undercut us by this point. We let Ocon go by, we actually drive a bit wide there, but we let off the throttle so we don't get a warning or a penalty. Thought I wish that I would have cycled through the MFD so that I can see the tire wear, but by this point, after 14 laps, it should have been around 35-40%, and they actually felt pretty bad at this point. So we're gonna come into the pit lane, and I'm gonna leave you with what I think was an awesome sound. I don't know, let me know what you think of this sound below. Very mechanical. I don't know why, but for some reason I enjoyed that a lot more than usual. Maybe because I don't play Cockpit so much. But yeah, let me know if you think the F125 audio is better than F124. So far I am enjoying the game a lot. But now you can see the bane of our existence. P18, we went a bit too long on the hard tires, and Tsunoda up ahead, we saw hit ahead of us, has managed to undercut us by over 4 seconds. He is not really in our fight, but he's dragging along people that should be in our fight, like Jack Doohan. Jack Doohan is 4.4 seconds ahead of us on a medium, and lap 16 here, you can see that we've caught him by around 1.5 seconds, and then by the end of lap 17, it's gone back as he managed to get DRS. Jack Doohan now 4.2 seconds, and we are not going to be able to gain any more positions unless somebody up ahead will DNF. So yeah, end of lap 18, we are sort of gaining time, but it's a tall task. Even if this was, I guess, 80 AI, I would not be able to catch 4 seconds with the tire wear and this amount of battery. So yeah, we should have really pitted during lap 11 and ignored the objective, but it's a good learning experience either way. Lap 20 here, the gap was around 1.7 seconds. We did manage to catch him by quite a bit. Max Verstappen wins the race and sets off after his 5th championship within our little universe. Jack Doohan is ahead of us by 2 seconds. We've lost a bit of time here on the final lap, and yeah, by this point I've completely given up on trying to catch him, and I'm just looking at getting this car through the finish line and yeah, be done with the race. Even though it's P18, I felt the car was pretty decent. I just wish that we had done the strategy a bit better and maybe not scored a point, but we could have maybe been P11, P12.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Yeah, that was bad, mate.
Yeah, that was really bad, mate, as you heard him say there. Ocon gets driver of the day, who cares? And yeah, Verstappen wins.
There was no Verstappen. Max Verstappen, he takes victory.
And to get a victory at the first race of the season, this might be a sign of things to come. One thing's for sure is that this performance will be giving the team and the driver relief and confidence going into the rest of the season.
One of the all-time greats celebrates yet again. It's another podium.
Now we can see the new podium
Verstappen.
cutscene. I still believe it is the same cutscene as in previous games, but they've somehow managed to include like a camera of someone walking behind them, which is pretty cool. They don't have to do like a completely new scene, but it's a new experience. Fastest lap, Lewis Hamilton, a 1:19.6, I believe.
Well, that was certainly an exciting
A
weekend of Formula
1:19.8.
Be sure to
And
join
Liam
us
Lawson
for
actually
more
finished
exciting
P6,
Formula
so
One
he gets
action
points for the
very
team, which is
soon.
pretty nice. P18 for us, not that far off Hamilton's best lap, but we're gonna check the race director here, as we can see the lap times on it. And we're not really giving too much care into the start, but the final few laps, we can see Verstappen putting like low and high 20s, while we sort of struggled here. Sometimes a low 20, sometimes a 22, sometimes a high 20, and sometimes a flat 21. So our pace was a bit all over the place, not really that consistent, and that is something that we need to work on in the next few races. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the first race here. I'm sort of trying to figure out how to do F1 series content. The first couple of episodes are going to be a bit lackluster, for lack of a better term, as I learn to edit these and make them a lot more entertaining. But if you have any pointers, let me know in the comments below, and hopefully there will be more episodes to come. Hopefully I can make this an entire championship of episodes and make it entertaining. So yeah, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.